The Gypsy scale is one of my favorite scales to use over any minor tonality. It just adds the Django Reinhardt effect. If you don't know who Django Reinhardt is, you need to stop this video and go look up his name. He is a two-finger guitar player. He lost other pieces of his hand and two other fingers in an accident. I believe it was related to fire, an inferno. But that didn't stop him from becoming one of the most legendary guitar players of all time. And he favored the Gypsy scale along with the minor pentatonic. He kind of blended those two together. So that's the way I'm going to show you how to use the Gypsy scale, kind of like the first position of the harmonic minor scale. Only instead of this fourth degree, we're going to raise that, or depending on how you look at it, flatten the fifth. But we're still going to have the natural fifth, or the perfect fifth, included, so it will sound like this. So that is the Gypsy note right there, that sharp 4 or flat 5, however you want to look at it, that relationship. It is a really, really neat sound. And probably like the epitome of exotic. If I were to classify any scale as an exotic scale, I would choose the Gypsy scale. So what you want to do when you are trying to figure out how to throw this into your own playing is get acquainted with the minor pentatonic scale. That's obviously a recurring theme with some of these scales, is to find your comfort zone with the scale that you're most familiar with, which is usually, for most guitar players, the minor pentatonic scale, and then choose notes that will really bring out that Gypsy vibe. So as I mentioned, it's this sharp 4 or flat 5 note. So in the key of A, it is an E flat. So if we're kind of vamping, this note, obviously, the Gypsy note, you can hear it right away as opposed to the regular pentatonic sound. We can add in this to give some exotic flair to whatever we're playing. So what we're going to try next, now that we have this note that we're familiar with, is to find other ways to connect this note with maybe a couple other patterns in the Gypsy scale. So like we know from learning the positions, that is also a note that is outside of the minor pentatonic sound. So it's this natural 7 or major 7. The pentatonic has that flat 7 sound. So now we have two notes that are directly going to bring out the Gypsy sound. So depending on where you place these notes over which chord you're playing will either pull somebody far out of the tonality that you're in, or it will only enhance that tonality. And what I mean by that is they'll either know you just played something weird, or they'll be like, I heard something weird, but I don't know what it was. So over a chord like just an A minor, that is going to immediately be like, whoa, that's exotic. But over a 4 chord of this progression, so maybe a D minor, that's kind of like a more traditional sounding chord. It's a diatonic chord to the major scale. So in the A minor position, it's not as out there sounding as this would be. So I think the best way to utilize some of these notes is to just use your ear and find which note that you prefer to play over different sounding chords. So again, just start very simply, and there will be a backing track that you'll use, and it's just an A minor to D minor to E dominant vamp. So it's like. So experiment with plucking notes out of the Gypsy scale. There's no right or wrong way to implement this scale. As long as you are using it over a minor chord, then it is going to do something special to your guitar playing. So let's move along to the next lectures where we will learn all the positions of the Gypsy scale, and then I'm going to show you some examples that you can learn to plug in to your guitar arsenal, your tool belt. You know what I'm talking about. Let's check out some Gypsy positions.